Hello, welcome back to Zekism. Hope you're doing well. And Cast Your Minds Back, 1999. A sleeper hit, The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, hit cinemas and went down really, really well. It's a great film. It's of a time, but it's even good today actually. And apparently they are on their way back to the franchise. Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz have been confirmed to be returning to the Mummy franchise in early summer 2028. Here we are in deadline. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz officially set for Uni's next Mummy movie from Radio Silence. Pick hits theatres early summer 2028. Oscar winners, I guess they are now. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are coming back to Universal's The Mummy franchise, with the next movie instalment set for May 19th, 2028. Universal said on Tuesday. Uni had the date on hold for an event film. There are no other wide entries booked on that date. Pause for thought there. We'll cast our minds back to 1999. Mummy was a real hit. Made a lot of money. Still to this day is a good film, as I said before. Last one was Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which I think by everyone's assertions was not a good film. Rachel Weisz didn't even show up for that one, let's remember. The adventures of Rick O'Connell and Evie continue, and I wonder if John Hannah's now got a phone call. But I'd imagine so. Jonathan! Anyway, this is interesting news. One, I'm not being ageist here. They're not in the best of conditions in terms of their age, which means, it's going to be a different film from the last one we saw both of them feature in, and that's not being judgmental or anything, so, park at you. But, it would be interesting to see, obviously, the son who was grown up in the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I wonder if they'll even ignore that film. Or the continuity of it has to be set in Egypt, surely, as well. Deadline told you in November that the pair were in talks to star in the Radio Silence directed movie off a screenplay by David Coggeshall, The Family Plan, Orphan First Kill. Those are films he's done. The story of which remains under wraps. Weisz starred in the first two Mummy movies, 1999's The Mummy, 2001's The Mummy Returns, with obviously Dwayne Johnson in wonderful CGI, while Fraser headlined the first three, Mummy Returns, and 2008's The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which really, not a big fan. Radio Silence's Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett are helming the film. The Mummy brings Radio Silence back in business with Universal after the duo directed the 2024 vampire movie Abigail, which is actually quite a fun film. So, not saying they're going to smash it necessarily, but I think I can see the parallels between watching Abigail and the sort of the fun they had there with relaying to a franchise like The Mummy, which is sort of comedy horror. So I can see the link there. Sean Daniel, who has a storied history with the Mummy series, which has minted $1.8 billion around the globe in box office, not too shabby, is back to produce. Daniel produced the first three movies in addition to the 2017, Tom Cruise reboot, which, again, surely they're not going to make reference to that. They can't make reference to that, can they? Because it's a completely different Mummy. I wonder if Arnold Vosloo, the old Mummy, will get a call to come back. Interesting. William Chirac, James Vanderbilt, and Paul Neinstein are producing the Mummy's next chapter through Project X. There's so many companies being named here and named who are like, okay. I'm assuming they're good at their job. Fraser, Hive Mind's Jason F. Brown, and Dennis Stewart are executive producing. My God, it's a mouthful. Universal EVP Production Development Jay Polidoro and Director of Production Development Jacqueline Garrell are overseeing production. I don't care about any of these. This is because Deadline's an industry paper. They're like, all these names. Up next for Radio Silence is a Searchlight horror film, Ready or Not 2. Here I come. Again, fun horror film. That's sort of their stock and trade. So I can see the links there. And obviously those, horror films usually do quite well. Universal's got their own sort of market with their horror franchise. So The Mummy coming back. Thoughts? Yeah, why not? I don't hate it. I'm not jumping for joy necessarily. I'd be curious to see the story, obviously, but it is curious how they've managed to get Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz back. I am a fan of the old films. Again, 2008's Tomb of the Dragon Emperor aside, they were fun films. Even the Mummy Returns I quite liked. I'm all for it as long as the story's good. I think if they manage to capture that tone that the first two had, which is sort of comedy horror vibes, like I said. But the monster, whoever that is or whatever that is, I mean, surely it's got to be an Egyptian mummy. Surely. That's another question. We'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, I think if they get the tone right when it comes to the comedy and horror, and the monster's scary, but the characters are fun, then I think that's the recipe there. And I think that was the recipe of the old ones. I'm sure Dwayne Johnson isn't going to come back as the Scorpion King, surely. That would be funny, though. That would be really funny. Now let's get to the monster itself. Will it be a mummy? Because the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, from what I can remember, yes, in theory was a mummy, but not really, because it was a dragon emperor. It was a dead guy who got resurrected, a dead sorcerer. So it wasn't quite a mummy necessarily. And I think when you think of the mummy, you think of ancient Egypt. Another elephant in the room here is Lee Cronen's film The Mummy, coming out this year, which I know is not the same thing, but that's going to be straight up horror. So it's interesting how you've got The Mummy being referenced in multiple places, and I think that's New Line Cinema. I don't know, is that in line with Warner Brothers, or are they just releasing it themselves? They're probably just releasing it themselves. I should have researched that before the video, but nevertheless, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that, because I like Lee Cronin. I really like Evil Dead Rises that he did. Evil Dead Rises. Again, should have researched that. But yeah, at the same time, I think it's. Yeah, I'm interested to see, without being too, giving you a word salad, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this. Yeah, I've got no complaints here. No complaints whatsoever. But have you? Let me know in the comment section below. Are you excited to see a new installment with these characters? Again, I'm not saying anything about the age, or maybe other things that may go against. Maybe Brendan Fraser's been on, shed that way away. Ouch, what a bitch. Let me know in the comment section below. Please either like or subscribe on the channel. I'll speak to you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.